We're back at Municipal Stadium in Cleveland, ladies and gentlemen, awaiting the kickoff of the Browns home opener. The two teams have been introduced to the crowd here. Now we're awaiting the playing of the national anthem. The band is on the field, and also the starting units are also on the field. It is Charlie Taylor, left end, Jim Snowden, left tackle, Vince Permuto, left guard, Len Hawes at center, Willie Banks, Walter Rock, and Jerry Smith on the right side of the offensive line. And ladies and gentlemen, here's our national anthem. Offensive backfield for the Washington Redskins has Charlie Haraway and Larry Brown, the running backs, Bob Long, the flanker, Sonny Jurgensen, the quarterback, and we'll be ready with the opening kickoff in just one moment.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients brings you the finest beer in town. You're really gonna savor that old-fashioned filter flavor. To gain the finest beer around.
Of course, that finest combination of nature's ingredients is really Duke's old-fashioned Pilsner recipe. Just the proper amount of each golden grain, plus those costlier seedless hops, give Duke its old-fashioned beery flavor. That's why every day, 1 million people enjoy over 1 million Dukes. Try a Duke today. You'll be glad you did.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients makes Duquesne the finest beer in town.
The Duquesne Brewing Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Harry Brubaker is the referee for today's game, and Barry Brown the umpire. Tom Hensley is the head linesman. Art Holst the line judge. Stan Jaffe the back judge, and Frank Luzar the field judge. The Browns defensively will have, as we mentioned, Erich Barnes, a left cornerback. He was introduced and got a rousing reception from the crowd here. Up front is Snydow, Waller Johnson, Marvin Upshaw, and Jack Gregory, Bob Matheson, Dale Lindsey, Jim Houston, the normal linebacking core. Barnes on the left side, and Walt Sumner is the right cornerback, and Howell the free safety, and the strong side safety is Fred Summers. Pittsburgh has come up with a 36-yard field goal by Mingo to take a 3-0 lead over the Philadelphia Eagles. Both teams still on the sidelines getting final instructions from head coach Blanton Collier and Vince Lombardi. And the Browns break, and they come out now for the reenactment of the flip of the coin. We mentioned that the Browns have lost and will be receiving, and Don Cockcroft is captain of the special teams along with Jim Houston and Leroy Kelly. And their co-captains are Chris Hanberger, the defensive captain. He's a linebacker. And Len Hawes, their center, is the offensive captain for the Washington Redskins. 14 of the 16 teams in the NFL have all set co-captains or captains, with the Browns changing their special team captains with each game. As we mentioned today, it's Don Cockcroft. So it'll be Marvin Upshaw kicking off from the 40-yard line, and the Washington Redskins will take over the ball. for the first series of plays, and Sonny Jurgensen will be moving west to east or towards the bleachers here at Municipal Stadium. The Browns with 10 consecutive victories over the Washington Redskins, with Vince Lombardi with many consecutive victories over the Cleveland Browns when he was the head coach of the Green Bay Packers. The Browns have not only Frank Ryan and Charlie Haraway with Washington, but also Walter Roberts. And the Browns' Ron Snidow last year at this time was with the Washington Redskins. He is now the left defensive end for the Cleveland Browns. From Harry Brubaker, Marvin Upshaw has the ball, and he's teeing it up. There is a wind. It's a rather significant wind here at the stadium, blowing from east to west. The temperature is 62 degrees. The sun is out. The stands are not jammed, but a good crowd in the neighborhood of 75,000 on hand for the Browns home opener as we start the 50th season of the NFL, which is now 1 week old. The only score on the scoreboard has Pittsburgh 3, Philadelphia nothing. We're interested in the Washington Redskins and the Cleveland Browns game. Marv Upshaw all ready to kick off. And here to call the play for you is Gib Shanley.
Thank you, Jim. Good afternoon, everyone. Ricky Harris and Walt Roberts are deep. The kick is going to Roberts on the 3, to the 5-10, up the middle to the 15, and belted down at the... give him about the 19-yard line on his forward progress. Hit first by Billy Andrews. 16-yard return from the 3 to the 19. The Redskins offensive unit out on the field. Sonny Jurgensen's the quarterback. Larry Brown and Charlie Haraway the running backs. Bob Long's the flanker. Jerry Smith the slot end, and Charlie Taylor the split end. Long is flanked out to the right. Taylor splits 7 yards to the left. Jerry Smith is tight at right end. Handoff comes to Brown, turning right end at the 20, 22, 24, out of bounds on the 24, ridden out by Jim Houston. Got the corner turned on Jack Gregory, who couldn't quite grab him. That's a pickup of 5 yards. Vince Permuto starting at left tackle today, 10-year veteran. Ray Schonke has not played the last 2 games because of an injury. Long is your flanker to the right. Smith out about 2 at right end. Taylor again a 7-yard split at left end. And off to Haraway, right guard, hit at the 25 and spilled down on the 27 by Ron Snidow. The hole opened briefly, and then Snidow clammed it shut. They'll give the forward progress to the 28. It'll be 3rd down and 1 yard to go.
Which is a normal thing, although Sonny Jurgensen throws a lot of passes. Most passing teams will start out by establishing their running game, and now he is carried twice through the line.
Taylor's in at left end, Smith out 2 at right end. About a 3-yard split now. Haraway trying to cut to the outside at the 30. Stiff arms Sumner and gets knocked down by Mike Howe at the 40-yard line. 1st down. And that's a 12-yard pickup for Charlie Haraway. He gave Walt Sumner a pretty good stiff arm. Haraway started inside and veered to the outside.
He broke that tackle at about the 31, 32-yard line and got all the way up to the 40. So they've picked up now 21 yards in 3 carries.
Both ends split about 4 yards, and Long is your flanker to the right. Jurgensen hands to Brown, sweeping right end. 40, 45, breaks a tackle, hit down at the 50. Houston and Barnes on the tackle. Upshaw couldn't hang on to him. That's good for almost 10. It's about 9.5. So it's 2nd down and at midfield, and a couple of feet to go for the 1st down. Dick Modzelewski, Brown's defensive line coach, on the sidelines, giving a sign what defense to use as the Redskins break out of the huddle. Long is flanked right, Smith out 3 to the right. Taylor about a 10-yard split at left end. Jurgensen hasn't thrown yet. Give to Brown, right tackle. 50, 47, 46, and wrestled down by Walter Johnson. Lindsey hit him first. That'll be a 1st down. Bob Matheson had a shot at him too, Gib. This Larry Brown surprises you. He's only listed at 195, but he runs like he is much heavier, looks like about 220. And he's been breaking tackles, and the Browns' defensive line has had problems holding on to him. And you know, Jim, it's usually a bad sign when a team's having tackling problems. Although it sometimes gets corrected. Long flank right. Taylor out 5 to the left. Smith out 2 yards at right end. Jurgensen gives to Haraway, sweeping left end. He's hit hard and down. Fine play by Dale Lindsay at the 45-yard line. Dale fought off 2 blocks from the pulling guards, Banks and Permuto. He grabbed them and the ball carrier. He got about a yard on the play.
He stayed right there and gave him his left shoulder, and as you mentioned, he had 3 fellas, including the ball player, the ball carrier, coming right at him.
2nd and 9. Ball on about the 45.5. Long again, flank to the right. Smith out 2 to the right. Taylor a 5-yard split at left end. Jurgensen, first pass quickly to Smith. He's got it. 40, hit at the 39 and driven back. Trying to run with it. Mike Howell hit him. Should be the 39. Let's see where they finally spot the ball. 39, 7-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and about 2. Excuse me. Redskins have moved the ball since they received the kickoff, starting at the 19-yard line. Long flank right. Smith out 2 to the right. Taylor, a 5-yard split at left end. Jurgensen gives to Brown on a dive. Hit down at the 38-yard line. And a fine play by middle linebacker Bob Matheson. Walter Johnson assisted. Got about a yard on the play. It'll be 4th down, and the Redskins are going for a field goal.
Sonny Jurgensen had moved Charlie Haraway over to a position directly behind the quarterback and then gave to Larry Brown. Matheson was in there to break it up. And they're going to have to try now from about 45 yards for this field goal.
Brig Owens holding at the 45, and Kurt Knight, number 5, will attempt slight angle left. Spot. Kick is up. It's far enough. No good. It's off to the left. No good. There's an official timeout on the field with the score. The Browns nothing, the Redskins nothing.
Who knows what's been going on this afternoon? Who knows what went right and what went wrong with the Browns today? Blanton Collier? Right. And Blanton lets us know every afternoon, Monday through Friday at 5:30. Who else? How about the quarterback? Right again. And he's on WHK, too.
This is Bill Nelson, quarterback of the Cleveland Browns, reminding all Monday morning quarterbacks to be listening to WHK Monday morning at 7:30. If you have a question, a gripe, or a kind word about the weekend's pro football action, I'll be here to talk about it with you on the air. I'll also cover the scores and highlights of all sports. That's the Monday Morning Quarterback Show with yours truly, Bill Nelson, every Monday morning at 7:30 here on the Voice of the Browns, WHK.
Get your questions ready, and you can get your answers from Bill Nelson. A few compliments wouldn't hurt either. Monday Morning Quarterback, tomorrow morning, 7:30 on WHK.
Almost 5 minutes, the Redskins control the ball, moving it from the 19 to the 38. But they were unable to score, and now the Browns take over offensively for the first time.
Leroy Kelly is not starting today. Reese Morrison and Ron Johnson are the running backs. Bill Nelson, the quarterback, has Collins flanked to the right. A give to Morrison, cutting inside right end. It's the 20 to about the 24, close to the 25-yard line. Chip Glass, one of the blockers out on the play. Dick Shafrath is another one. Good for 5 yards. The Browns have Warfield as the split end. Glass is the slot end. Collins the flanker. Johnson and Morrison the running backs. Nelson the quarterback. Shafrath and Clark the tackles. DeMari and Hickerson the guards. Hoagland at center will get the Redskins defense in a moment. 2nd and 5. Browns break the huddle. Warfield flank to the left. Gary Collins a 4-yard split at right end. Glass out about a half yard at left end. Here's a flip to Johnson, turning left end. 30 to the 28 rather, and knocked down on the 28-yard line. Carl Kammer, a defensive right end, makes the tackle. Gain of 3 more. It'll be 3rd and 2. Carl Kammer is the right end. Spain Musgrove is the right tackle. Frank Bosch the left tackle, and Leo Carroll starting at left end. Tom Russell, Sam Huff, and Chris Hanberger are the linebackers. Pat Fisher and Mike Bass the cornerbacks. Brig Owens and Ricky Harris are the safeties. The Browns have the ball on their own 28-yard line. 3rd down, 2 to go. No score. First quarter. 9:07 remaining. Browns break the huddle. Ends are in. Collins flank right. Give to Johnson. Right tackle. Not much of a hole. It's close to the 30 though. May have to measure. The hole jammed up, and then one of the Redskins, I believe Hanberger, hit him from the side and knocked him forward, probably enough for the first down, and it is. It was the momentum supplied by the tackler that knocked Johnson that far up into the line. First down and 10. That's the Browns' first down of the ball game. 62 degrees at game time and a wind blowing. Collins flanked right. Glass out 3 to the right. Warfield about a 3-4 yard split at left end. And off to Johnson, left tackle, 32-yard line. Sam Hupp is there to meet him. Also Leo Carroll, the defensive end.
Washington started out with 6 straight ground plays before Sonny went to the air for the first play. The Browns have now carried 4 straight times. Kansas City 3, Cincinnati nothing, first period.
Browns have 2nd and 8. Collins will flank right. Warfield splits 5 at left end. Chip Glass out 2 yards at right end. Nelson hands on the draw to Morrison up the middle, 30, 34, 35-yard line, and pulled down by Tom Russell, the left linebacker.
Hoagland and Clark threw a nice block on Sam Hupp, the middle linebacker, to clear him out of there.
3rd down and 5 to go. Leroy Kelly has the option of whether he wants to play today. Didn't think his leg felt good enough to start. He can come in anytime he's ready. Collins will flank right. Warfield, a 5-yard split at left end. Glass out 2 at right end. 3rd and 5. Nelson on his first pass. Sets, drills to Warfield. It is incomplete as he's knocked down on the Redskins' 45-yard line. Ricky Harris hit him just as the ball was getting to his hands. The Browns will have to punt. Ricky Harris stays back there. He'll be in double safety with Walter Roberts. .6:53 remaining, first quarter. Line of scrimmage, the Browns 35. Cockcroft standing at the 21. After 1 week, leads the NFL punters. Good snap. High end-over-end kick. Taken by Roberts on his own 25. He's boxed in and he's nailed on the 26. Wayne Malin, Charlie Lee were there. And a timeout's been called. There's an official timeout on the field with the score, the Browns nothing, the Redskins nothing.
If you're like most of us, you know just how many money obligations you can handle. And you stop there. Then, wham, something unexpected happens, and bills start to pile up. What then? Well, a lot of practical people get a bill payer loan from Household Finance Loan Corporation. They borrow $2,000 up to $5,000 and clear up those bills at once. Then they have just 1 payment a month to household that's lower than their present monthly total. Household recommends never borrow money needlessly. But when unexpected bills arrive, visit the company that tells you the cost before you borrow. And remember, all loans over $2,000 may be secured by real estate equity at Household Finance Loan Corporation. For a large or small loan, visit the household office nearest you. There are 18 offices in the Cleveland area. See your phone book for the addresses.
Redskins out of the huddle after a 40-yard punt by Cockcroft. Both ends are split. Long flanked out far to the left. Jurgensen to throw. Over the middle. It is caught by Brown. He's knocked down at the 32-yard line by Jim Houston. 6-yard pickup. Sent all his receivers deep and fired a short one over the middle to his rookie running back, Larry Brown. 2nd and 4.
Pittsburgh's gone up on Philadelphia 10-0.
Jurgensen's 2 for 2. Long is flank left. Smith a 5-yard split at left end. Taylor a 5-yard split at right end. Sonny Jurgensen hands the ball to Brown. Right tackle caught in the backfield by Gregory. Dumped back on the 28. Jack Gregory knifed through a block and spilled Brown back to the 28-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8. That's a loss of 4. Jim, I would have to think Jack Gregory is the most improved player in the last 3 years.
He certainly is. He's come a long, long way.
Browns trying to hold off a 3rd and 8. Long flank to the right. Smith out 3 to the right. Taylor out 5 to the left. Jurgensen back in the pocket, setting up. He's in trouble. He's nailed by Walter Johnson back on the 20-yard line. The entire Browns defensive line was swarming around Jurgensen, and Johnson wrapped him from behind for an 8-yard loss, and the Redskins will have to punt as the fans go wild for the defense.
Dale Lindsey took the first swipe at him, and after he knocked Sonny Jurgensen just slightly off balance, then Walter Johnson was right there to nail him, and this is what's going to have to happen this afternoon if the Browns have a chance to stop Sonny Jurgensen. The rush has got to come probably from your tackles, too.
Mike Bragg will punt for Washington, standing at the 6. Walt Sumner and Reese Morrison back in double safety at the Cleveland 35. Good snap. Kick is away. End over end. Short one. Bearcats call forward. The ball hits at the 47 and goes out of bounds on the Browns' 46. The Browns have excellent field position, starting on their own 46-yard line with 4:50 remaining, a 34-yard punt. We're in the first quarter with no score.
Yes, it could be quite a difference starting from your own 20 as compared to now on this series starting from the 46-yard line. Nelson has gone to the air just once.
Gary Collins flanked out to the right. Chip Glass is tight at right end. Paul Warfield's a 3-yard split at left end. Give to Morrison. Blocking the Hickerson. Turns the corner. Cuts inside to the 50 to the Redskins' 48-yard line. Tom Russell, the left linebacker, on the stop. Damari and Hickerson, the guards, had pulled out to lead the blocking. Ball in about the 48.5. It's almost a 5-yard pickup. That is 5, about 5.5. Second down, about 4.5 to go. Boston leading Oakland 7-0 in the AFL. That's a surprise. Warfield flanked to the left. Glass out 3 at left end, and Morrison now is a wing back to the right. Give to Johnson, right tackle, big hole into the 45, down to about the 43-yard line. Leo Carroll tripped him up. Hamburger helped on it, and Collins is the man who threw the big block for him. It looks to be a first down. We're going to measure. That ball's got to be a foot or two past the
ball's on the 43.5, and the end of the chain was on the 44. I think they have it.
That's good for 6 yards, by the way. Shouldn't be any doubt about this one. None at all. First down, Cleveland. Ball spotted just inside the 44-yard line. Browns break the huddle. Warfield flank left. Collins a 7-yard split at right end. Glass out a yard at left end. First and 10. Nelson to throw. He looks, pumps, throws. It is incomplete. Almost a one-handed grab by Chip Glass at the 40-yard line. He was fighting off Tom Russell at the moment, though. Couldn't quite hang on to it.
Boy, that Pat Fisher continues to hold on to Gary Collins. Gary was trying to cut loose and cut over the center. He was just going to go on a diagonal over the center, and Fisher just wouldn't let up. Pittsburgh now up on Philadelphia 13-0.
Gary says Fisher is the toughest man for him in this league. 2nd and 10. Warfield flank to the left. Collins out 5 to the right. Glass out a half yard at left end. Nelson hands, fakes the draw, throws a screen to the right to Morrison. He's caught for a loss, and a beautiful play by Hamburger back on the Browns 48. Loss of 8 yards, mark at almost the 49, 7-yard loss. Hamburger went right over Gene Hickerson, just knocked him down and went over him. So it's 3rd down and 17 to go.
I think he saw that coming because Nelson didn't fake as though he were going to go long. He just looked out to the flat, and Morrison already turned around as though he were going to catch the ball, and Hamburger was right there. Wasn't much deception on the play.
Warfield flanked far to the left. Collins out 5 at right end. Glass out 2 at left end. Flags down. Nelson to throw. And it is overthrown at the 25-yard line, intended for Chip Glass. We have a flag on the play. Washington jumped, however, they might have been pulled offsides. Apparently that's it. Talking to the Redskins. Backfield illegal procedure now is the ball. It's declined. Browns will have to punt. Well, we have 2:43 to play in the first quarter. No score in the ball game. Ricky Harris and Walter Roberts back at the 10. Line of scrimmage just about the 48. High snap. Cockroft grabs it. Beautiful high spiral. And we'll run that one back. Fair catch called for. Ball rolls down on the 5, and it goes into the end zone. 52-yard punt. Reese Morrison couldn't quite flag it down outside the goal line. And there's an official timeout on the field with a score, the Browns nothing, the Redskins nothing.
NBC, CBS, ABC, and FCM all have color TV weeks this fall. FCM Color TV Week is this week. It's the biggest color TV sale in Cleveland's history because Forest City is color TV headquarters. This week, every color TV set has a special low price to celebrate FCM Color TV Week. Forest City has big color TV for $244, every famous make. Now you get long-term manufacturer's guarantees, and you must be completely satisfied because Forest City guarantees it. Buy color TV now at Forest City for as low as $244. Pay nothing until next year. During FCM Color TV Week, the excitement is not in the shows, it's in the price. And FCM's price is the most exciting thing in color TV. Shop Forest City today. Prices were never lower. FCM Color TV Week is this week.
About 2.5 minutes remaining in the first period. There's no score. Washington with the ball on their own 20 now.
Bob Long flanked out to the right. Smith out 3 at right end. Taylor a 5-6-yard split at left end. Jurgensen hands the ball to Brown. Cutting inside the end. 20, 25, 30. Breaks a tackle. 35, 40. Breaks another one. He's to the 50, to the 45. He's down to the Browns 35, 30. Mike Hall hits him. He is down on about the 23-yard line. Brilliant run by rookie Larry Brown from Kansas State. 47-yard run. They broke at least 3 tackles on the way. Yards later. Down to the Browns' 23-yard line, and Jerry Allen's replaced Brown to give him a breather. There's the first break of the ball game. Long flank to the right. Smith out 2 at right end. Taylor out 7 to the left. Hand off to Haraway. Up the middle. Hits down to about the 20-yard line. Over left guard, Bob Matheson. There to make the tackle. Walter Johnson's on the bottom of it. Gain of about 3 yards. 2nd and 7. First threat of the ball game.
Brown is standing over there next to Bill Austin. Now Vince Lombardi comes in, anxious to get back into the ball game.
Long flank right. Smith out 3 to the right. Taylor a 5-yard split at left end. Jurgensen's going to throw it. Looking, firing to Long. Flag down. Holding, I think, on Erich Barnes. Long couldn't get into his pattern.
And his pattern was to go down and cut to the post and then to the flag, and he was wide open, but he was held up on the 7-yard line.
Well, now they're going to call it interference. That's quite a difference. Still an automatic first down, but now it's on the 7. Well, while we're waiting, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Cleveland Browns Football Network.
This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. WHK and WMMS FM, Metro Media Radio, Cleveland.
Browns back in, replacing Allen as running back. First and goal now on the Browns 7. The ends are out about a yard, and Long is the flanker to the right. Wing back to the right now. Give to Haraway, sweeping left end. 8-7-6, hit down on the 6-yard line. Walt Sumner and Dale Lindsay. Make it Walt Sumner and Bob Matheson. And Sumner hitting first. Got about a yard on the play to the 6. 2nd down and goal. 45 seconds to play in the first quarter with no score yet.
Kansas City got another 46-yard field goal this time to go 6-0 up on the Cincinnati Bengals.
Bob Long, flank to the right. Erich Barnes out covering him. Both ends out about a yard and a half. Jurgensen's going to throw it. Looks to Smith. He can't quite hang on to it as he fell in the end zone. It bounced out of his hands down on the ground. Freddie Summers was covering. Jerry Smith was open by just about a half yard, juggled it as he hit the ground, it bounced out.
A pretty pattern there where Long and Smith crisscrossed, and Long went to the post, the goal post, and then the other receiver heads towards the flag and almost had it.
3rd and goal on the 6. This is the big play in the series.
Jerry Smith is very capable of making outstanding receptions.
Long flank right. Smith out a yard at right end. Taylor out 5 yards at left end. 3rd and goal on the 6. Big handoff. Jurgensen to throw in the end zone. It is a touchdown to Jerry Smith. Six-yard touchdown pass. Beat Jim Houston on the play. With 10 seconds remaining in the quarter, Redskins have gone on top. Brigons will hold. Kurt Knight will attempt the extra point. Waiting. High snap. Ball spotted. It's up. It's good. And the Redskins have taken a 7-0 lead in the closing seconds of the first quarter. Jim?
All right, and it was all set up by a 57-yard scamper by Larry Brown, this rookie from Kansas State, who was their number 8 draft choice, a real fine runner who got the right side of the Washington line opened up for him as he skidded through it at about the 30-yard line. Then he picked up a block from Charlie Taylor about midfield and was able to get down to the 23-yard line where only Mike Howell was left, and Howell's the fastest member of the Browns. But that set it up and put it on the 23, and they took it in with the help of a pass interference penalty called against Erich Barnes, who was covering Bob Long on the play. Jerry Smith taking the Sonny Jurgensen pass for 6 yards in the first score of the afternoon.
Charlie Lee and Dean Brown are back in double safety, and a high kick. Brown under it on the 2. the middle, 5, 10, 15, 20, tripped up and down on the 22-yard line by Leo Carroll. And there's the gun. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, Washington 7, Cleveland nothing.
If you listen to WHK only once a week for the Browns games, you don't know what you're missing. WHK offers everything you could want from any radio station. For example, the WHK morning show hosted by our all-pro Paul King. Is that all-pro or old pro, Gib? I guess after 15 years, I could qualify as an old pro. But you know, I used to do what you do. But now I handle the WHK music, time, weather, and such, and let you do the sports 3 times every morning. And Bill Tompkins has 10-minute newscasts every hour at 55. By the way, what time does he get there? At 3 o'clock in the morning, so he knows what's going on. And Dennis Buckles in the newsroom, too. And Dennis and Bill both keep an eye on traffic conditions. And don't forget Brown's Bill Nelson with a Monday morning quarterback show at 7:30 tomorrow morning. Well, it's for sure WHK has it all on the air every morning. Right, Gib? Music, news, sports, weather, time, traffic. See what you're missing? Why not leave the radio right where it is all week? Sure wouldn't hurt. And you'll be ready for the next Browns game.
Starting the second quarter now, the Browns have the ball on the 22-yard line and moving towards the bleachers. See if Nelson can't get something going here.
Paul Warfield flanked to the left. Collins a 4-yard split at right end. Glass out a yard at left end. Milt Morin's out now, rather, instead of Glass. Nelson throwing. Warfield's open. He's got it on the 45. He's out of bounds on about the 46-yard line. Warfield in a beautiful pattern on Mike Bass. Bass and Owens finally ran him out of bounds. Good for 24 yards.
And that's where Mike Bass tries to protect him on the inside, and Warfield fakes as though he's going inside. Then he circles out around him, and he's only about 3 feet out in from the far sideline, but he got around him and made this pickup to almost the 46.
Collins flanked right. Morin out a yard at right end. Warfield out 4 at left end. Hand off to Morrison, sweeping right in, cuts behind Hickerson's block, gets up to the 50, and down he goes on the 50, almost the 49. Tom Russell made the tackle. Pick up almost 5 yards on the play. The ball is on the nose of the ball at the 49.5. We're just starting the second quarter. The linebackers of the Redskins, Hamburger and Russell, the outside linebackers, will switch. Russell usually takes the open side of the field. Collins out 3 at right end. Warfield flanked left. Morin's 2-yard split at left end. Fake handoff. Give to Morrison. Cuts over left tackle on a trap play. Sam Huff trips him up at the 46-yard line. They faked the flip to Johnson and gave on a trap play to Reese Morrison. It'll be 3rd and about 2.
Eagles back in the ball game now as Snead hit Hawkins for 26 yards, and it's 13-7 Pittsburgh.
Brown's out of the huddle. Ends about a yard split. Collins a wingback to the right. Reese Morrison, left tackle, first down, hits the 42-yard line. Sam Huff made the tackle. John Damari cleared the opening. First down and 10 to go.
Boy, that Sam really gets around in that defensive backfield there. He was lined up on the right side of Hogan this time. Morrison took it over on the left side of the line, Brown's line, and Sam was still in on the tackle.
Morrison has 25 yards and 6 carries. Johnson's 4 for 13. Morrison's a wingback left. Collins flanked right. Nelson throwing. Great protection to Collins. He can't quite get it at the 17-yard line. Just got one hand on the ball as he beat Pat Fisher. I would imagine, Jim, for both quarterbacks, it's a little tricky throwing with a gusty wind.
This is more wind than those fans that are sitting here, I think, realize, because you can take a look at the flags, and especially the flags on the field, which have some protection because of the stadium, are almost standing straight up. So there's quite a wind, and it's blowing into the Browns' faces now.
Wind at the stadium normally comes through the open end and will whip around, and sometimes your flag's down on the field blowing in all different directions. The wind swirls around.
Nelson, in his 4 passes, has been going deep, too, rather than short.
Collins flank right, Morrison wing left, Nelson to throw. Ball's knocked out of his hands by left end Leo Carroll just as he started to release the ball. Carroll reached out and swiped the ball. Carroll's 6'7", 250. It's incomplete, and it's 3rd and 10. Bill Nelson's 2 for 6. Haven't had a lot of passing yet in this first half. 3rd down and 10.
Well, maybe for the first time in many, many years, the Washington Redskins will come up with a running attack in Larry Brown with the help of Haraway, and they haven't even used Jerry Allen much since last week.
Collins flank right, Warfield out 7 to the left. Flags down, Nelson to throw. In the middle, deep, Warfield's got it on the 23-yard line. He's pulled down by Ricky Harris. Flag on the play, but I believe it is against Washington offside. 19-yard pickup. First down. It was offside Washington. Penalty, of course, declined. The ball on about the 22 and a half.
Boy, he had to spot that one, too, right on the nose, Gib, as you can see, because Warfield had 3 defenders around him within 3 or 4 yards, and it had to be right on the button.
Warfield flanked to the left. Morin out 2 at left end. Collins out 5 at right end. First down and 10. Handoff. Ron Johnson cuts inside the end to the 20. Down to the 17-yard line. Frank Bosch, the defensive left tackle, made the stop along with Sam Huff.
Well, he looks like Jim Brown on some of those. He was caught behind the line of scrimmage, but he just went forward for another 5 or 6 yards all by himself.
So one thing a rookie doesn't normally pick up so soon, and that is confidence. And Johnson picked that up last week with his 118 yards.
Boston goes up on Oakland 13 to nothing.
Second down, 4 yards to go. Morin and Warfield split 2 yards at the ends. Collins flanked to the right. Nelson gives the ball to Morrison on a dive over left tackle to the 14 to about the 13-yard line. Leo Carroll on the tackle along with Chris Hanberger. Monty Clark opened that hole. It'll be 3rd down and about a foot maybe they're going to measure. I don't think it's that close. They're getting down now to the open end of the field, right in front of the loyal bleacher fans. It's about 8-10 inches shy of a first down. And it's 3rd down. Redskins lead 7-0, second quarter, 11:39 remaining. This is the Browns' deepest penetration. Morin's tight at right end, Warfield out a yard at left end, Collins a wing back to the right. Give to Johnson, left tackle. There's a hole. He's down to about the 11-yard line. First down. Huff making the tackle with Ricky Harris.
All right. Dick Shawcraft in on that one, blocking too, and there's a Washington Redskin down.
Sam Huff is down, Jim. Sam Huff is down on his back. We have a timeout call. There's an official timeout on the field with the score: the Redskins 7, the Browns nothing.
When you stop to think that 1,000,000 times a day, 1,000,000 people enjoy over 1,000,000 dukes, you may ask what's behind it. Well, in the aging process, Duquesne takes an extra step called kreuzening. It's an old-fashioned way to age beer, and it takes longer than the modern hurry-up way. Most of today's brewers can't take that kind of time. But Duquesne, with a 2.5 million barrel brewing capacity, can take the time. In short, the folks at Duquesne believe that kreuzening is the only way to bring you the finest beer in town. That's why every day, 1,000,000 people enjoy over 1,000,000 dukes. Join the crowd. Try a Duke today. You'll be glad you did.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients makes Duquesne the finest beer in town.
The Duquesne Brewing Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Browns ready to go. First down and 10 on the 11-yard line. Huff out of the ball game. Collins flanked to the right. Here's the handoff to Morrison, cutting inside the end of the 10 to about the 9-yard line. And he carried safety man Brig Owens 2 yards. Russell then finally hit him to stop him. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8. And John Didion, a rookie from Oregon State's in a middle linebacker, replacing Sam Huff. Sam was knocked out for a moment. Spelling assaults revived him, and he's over on the Redskins bench.
I'm still not sure that he knows this is Municipal Stadium, as he was really wobbly when he went off the field.
His helmet hit Ron Johnson coming through that hole. Warfield flanked to the left. Collins out 4 yards, split at right end. 2nd down and 8 to go at the 9. Hand off to Morrison. Left tackle to the 6, to the 5. Morrison down to about the 4-yard line. Beautiful driving legs of Reese Morrison. Mike Bass and Ricky Harris finally put the stop on him. That was not a big hole to start with. That's good for 5 yards. It'll be 3rd down. 3 to go for a first down. 4 to go for a touchdown.
Cincinnati's gone up on Kansas City 7-6. Morrison now is 35 yards and 9 carries. Johnson 22 yards and 6, doing all the lugging for the Browns so far. With 9:50 left in the first half.
Collins flanking to the right. Morin and Warfield, the ends are in. 3rd down. Give to Morrison up the middle to about the 2 to the 1-yard line. Should be enough for a first down, and I don't know how he got through that hole. Leo Carroll makes the tackle. They're going to measure for the first down, I believe. Here's Chip Glass coming in the Browns lineup. Warfield will come out. We have 2 slot ends in the lineup. For blocking purposes, it should be a first down. Ball is just about at the 1.
This is going to be a real close one, Gib.
First down by about half the length of the ball. 9:33 remaining in the second quarter. The Browns trail 7-0.
Browns have had the ball ever since the start of this second quarter. That's close to 6 minutes.
Redskins have a 4th linebacker in, Marlon McKeever. They've taken out right cornerback Mike Bass. Ends are in, Glass and Morin. Collins a wing right. First down goal to go on the 1. Nelson gives to Johnson. Left tackle, a touchdown! Blocks thrown by Fred Hoagland, John Damari, Dick Shafrath, and Reese Morrison. 9:10 remaining in the first half on the Browns' first touchdown. Nelson will hold at the 10 for Don Cockroft's attempted extra point. The spot, the kick is up. It is good. There's an official timeout on the field with the score. Browns 7, the Redskins 7.
If you're like most of us, you know just how many money obligations you can handle, and you stop there. Then, wham, something unexpected happens and bills start to pile up. What then? Well, a lot of practical people get a bill payer loan from Household Finance. They use it to clear up everything. Then they have just one payment a month to HFC that's lower than their present monthly total. HFC recommends never borrow money needlessly. And Household knows that nobody goes looking for money trouble. But when money trouble comes looking for you, see the company that says,
before you sign on the dotted line, you'll know what your loan will cost.
That's Household Finance.
For a large or small loan, visit the household office nearest you. There are 18 offices in the Cleveland area. See your phone book for the addresses.
Sam Baker has kicked the field goal for the Eagles. Pittsburgh leads now by a score 13-10. 78 yards in 14 plays, and the Browns will be giving up the football for the first time in the second period here. We're all tied up 7-7.
Upshaw to kick off. Walter Roberts in double safety with Ricky Harris. That one's deep. Harris 4 yards deep, coming out with it. 10, 15, 20, slammed down On about the 23-yard line. Dean Brown was the first one to hit him. John Garlington is shaken up on the play for the Browns. Got wrapped on a block on his left knee. Now he's limping off the sidelines. 26-yard return. Redskins starting play on the 23-yard line. Ball game 7-7. Bob Long is the flanker to the right. Taylor's out 7 yards and 5 yards now at left end. Smith out 3 at right end. Jurgensen hands the ball to Brown, sweeping right end. He is nailed on the 21-yard line by Walter Johnson and Jim Houston. They climbed all over the Washington blocking on that play and all over the ball carrier. They're going to give him 21 and a half, so he lost almost 2 yards on the play. About a yard and a half.
Oh, Walter wasn't about to be taken out on that. One thing, you have a second-year man in on the guard for the Washington Redskins, and you also have Vince Permuta, who has moved from the right side to the left side, so it is a little foreign to him, and he's up against Marvin Upshaw.
Long flank left. Jurgensen to throw. It is caught by Smith on the 29. He's hauled down by Mike Howell on the 29-yard line. That'll be a pickup of about 8, which brings up third down. About 4 to go. 7:40 remaining in the first half. 7-7 the score. 3rd and 4. Bob Long flanks to the left. Charlie Taylor splits 5 to the right. Jerry Smith out a yard and a half at left end. Jurgensen to throw. He fires. It is caught at the 30-yard line. Brown is nailed by Jim Houston. It is short of the first down. The Redskins will have to punt.
It looked like...
Excuse me, Jim. Gregory was bothering Jurgensen.
It looked like he was going to go for long on that on that pass because he was covered by the rookie, Walt Sumner. But Mike Howell came over to give double coverage to Long, and so Sonny just went to his running back on that short pass.
Mike Bragg will punt. Reese Morrison and Walt Sumner in double safety. Good snap. Kick is away. Beautiful high spiral. Sumner's got it on the 15. Left sidelines. He's to the 20. Spins away and gets knocked out of bounds on the 22-yard line. And it was Dave Crossan who knocked him out of bounds, the second-string center for the Redskins. Browns will start play on the 22-yard line. A 55-yard punt and a 7-yard return.
22-yard line is exactly where they started this quarter, and they marched 78 yards in 14 plays. Almost identical spot. They started out with a 24-yard pass to Warfield, which took it up to the 46-yard line.
Collins flanked right. Morin out a yard at right end. Warfield out 4 at left end. Flip to Johnson. Cuts inside the end. 22-23. Got about a yard on the play. Chris Hanberger, the right linebacker, on the tackle. John Didion is still in the middle linebacker for the Redskins. 2nd and 9.
Didion's one of the 5 rookies from Oregon State.
Washington has quite a few players from Arizona State. 3 that I can think of offhand. Here come the Browns out of the huddle. Collins flank to the right. Warfield out 5 to the left. Morin splits 2 at right end. On the draw, Johnson up the middle. 20, 25, 30. Johnson 34, 36-yard line. Pulled down by Hanberger and Didion. Reese Morrison again cleared the way. Musgrove is the defensive lineman who couldn't hang on to him. 13-yard pickup.
Well, he burst through there, and probably his best move was one that gained him just the last couple of yards as he eluded a tackler at the 33 and got up just across the 35-yard line.
Morrison is 38 yards, picked up on the ground. Johnson 37. Collins flanked to the right. Morin out a yard at right end. Warfield out 5 yards at left end. 1st and 10. On a trap. Johnson has fumbled the ball back on the 34-yard line. The ball was hooked out of his hands by Kammerer. But I believe Bill Nelson's the man who fell on it.
I think you're right, Gib. I think Bill did get back under that.
So it's second down and 12. Get your heart fluttering a little bit. That's how strong these defensive linemen are. He hooked the arm that Johnson had the ball in and pulled it right out. Warfield flanked left. Collins out 7 to the right. Morin out 2 at left end. On the draw, Morrison skips over 2 men, gets to the 27-yard line. Didion on the tackle, and Leo Carroll. And he was almost trapped in the backfield. Musgrove couldn't hang on. It's a gain of 3. It'll be third down and 9 on the Cleveland 37-yard line with 4 minutes and 3 seconds to play in the half. 7-7 score. A very well-played first half. Browns break the huddle. Collins will flank right. Morin out 2 at right end. Warfield splits 7 at left end. Nelson back to throw. Under pressure, rolling left. Fires upfield. Caught by Morrison at the 42, and he's pulled back. It'll be short of the first down. It's good for about 5. Tackle made by Hamburger. That was a one-arm tackle as Morrison was spinning around after catching the pass. Browns will have to punt. Ricky Harris and Walter Roberts going back in double safety. Don Cockroft will punt for the Browns. The line of scrimmage, the Cleveland 42. Billy Andrews will snap it back. Good snap. A lot of time. High. Beautiful spiral. Walter Roberts going to let it go out of bounds on about the 23. That's where it'll be marked. No return, 35-yard punt. An official timeout on the field with the score. The Redskins 7, the Browns 7.
Today and every day is Laundry Day at Forest City. You'll find washers and gas dryers at the lowest prices in town. That's a Forest City promise. They know it's true because Forest City shops all the stores in town. Department stores, appliance stores, and the discount houses. They compare prices just like you do. They know that model for model, price for price, gas dryers at Forest City cost less. Hot Point, Speed Queen, and Frigidaire cost less. That's a promise Forest City will keep. They guarantee your complete satisfaction. They make normal installation free. Gas keeps its promises too. Gas dryers promise a perfect perma-press finish for your clothes, and they promise to deliver sunshine for 1/4 the cost. Ask the laundry expert at Forest City how you can own a gas dryer for just $5 a month. Then just say, charge it.
Forest City.
The St. Louis Cardinals have gone up on the Chicago Bears 7-0. That's the first period score.
Here's Taylor, split 10 yards to the left. Long flanked out to the right. Smith is out 3 yards at right end. 2:55 to play in the half. Brown on a trap, left guard and tackle to the 25, 27-yard line. Walter Johnson on the tackle. Second down, 6 to go.
Second period.
Long flanking to the right. Smith out 3 to the right. Taylor again about a 10-yard split to the left. Give to Brown up the middle. Breaks one tackle and gets knocked down at the 31-yard line. Upshaw couldn't hang on to him. Walter Johnson again put him down. It will be third down. About 2 to go.
Boy, Gib, this is amazing. Sonny Jurgensen, we only have about 2 minutes remaining in the first half. He's only thrown 6 times so far.
2-minute warning now coming to the benches. There's an official timeout on the field. The score, the Browns 7, the Redskins 7.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients brings you the finest beer in town. You're really gonna savor that old-fashioned Pilsner flavor.
Cane, the finest beer around.
If your taste is becoming tired of the beer you've been drinking, give it a treat by trying a Duke. Every day, 1 million people enjoy over 1 million Dukes, the finest beer in town. Join the crowd. Try a Duke today. You'll be glad you did.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients makes Duquesne the finest beer in town.
The Duquesne Brewing Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Norman Snead has hit Hawkins again for 38 yards, and the Eagles now go up on Pittsburgh 17-13 after they were down 13-0.
Redskins have 3rd down and 2 on their own 31 with 2 minutes to play in the half. Tie score. We'll get a break after this play. Long flank right. Smith out 2 at right end. Taylor out 7 at left end. Jurgensen reaching under. Whoop. Uh-oh. Everybody's moving. Larry Brown started to move in the Redskins' backfield. I believe they're going to penalize the Browns. 5 yards.
There's your first down.
Jim, the fans are booing, but it's offside Cleveland. Brown is allowed to move in the backfield. He's allowed to be a man in motion. He didn't intend to be, but he's allowed to be, and the defense can't react to it that way. It's 1st down and 10. We got a break after this play now. Hate to break promises. Long flank right. Smith out 3 at right end. Taylor out 7 at left end. 1st and 10. Jurgensen back in the pocket, setting up, under pressure. He's caught and down by Jack Gregory back on the 27-yard line. Gregory made a great rush that time and went right through that offensive tackle. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Cleveland Browns Football Network.
This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. WHK and WMMS FM, Metro Media Radio, Cleveland.
Loss of 9, 2nd and 19. Jim Snowden's the man who was overpowered by Gregory that time. 1:42 remaining. Clock running. Long flank to the right. Smith out 4 to the right. Taylor out 7 to the left. Jurgensen back to throw. Screen in the right flat at the 19-yard line. Brown's in trouble. Marvin Upshaw wrestles him down at about the 20-yard line. Matheson's the man who broke up the screen. That's a 7-yard loss on the play. It'll be now 3rd down and 26. And the Browns defense very alert in the 2nd quarter.
I'm sure they've been told that they would have to get to Sonny once he started going to the air, which he is now. He hadn't been up until this time, but they had to get him to protect the rookies in the defensive backfield of the Cleveland Browns. And boy, that defensive front 4 along with the linebackers is doing a great job so far.
Both ends split about 3 yards. Long is the flanker to the left. 44 seconds to play in the half. Hand off to Brown. Cutting around left end at the 20. Sumner upsets him. Flag on the play.
They got to have a trip, I think.
Walter Johnson was hit from behind by Walter Rock. The ball is... the play ended at the 22. The flag is dropped back on the 18-yard line.
They're probably going to decline this anyway.
Clipping. Declines, so the Redskins will have to punt, and the Browns have 35 seconds and can hope to get some quick field position for at least a shot at a field goal.
Well, the Skins have the wind at their back, so if he gets it up in the air, they're going to have to probably start from around their own 30, 35, somewhere in there, if this is a good punt. They carry Mike Bragg, and all he does is punt. He's a 2-year man from Richmond, an expensive punter.
Line of scrimmage, the 22. Morrison and Sumner in double safety at the Cleveland 37. Bragg standing at the 8. Good snap. Almost blocked by Gregory. Kick is away. Fair catch called for. Held by Sumner on the Cleveland 34-yard line. About a 45-yard punt. Browns are going without a huddle now. Morrison's a slot left. Here's Nelson to throw. Setting, firing in the middle. It is deflected. Intended for Morrison. It's incomplete. Gideon, the middle linebacker, flicked it away. 17 seconds remaining in the half. Now the Browns can huddle. Clock stops.
Cardinals have gone up on the Bears now 13-0. Next week, the Detroit Lions will be coming in here as the Browns play 2 straight at home, and they go to New Orleans, and then their next 3 games will be at home, including the Saturday night Pittsburgh game. The Washington Redskins will be playing their 3rd straight road game next Sunday, being in San Francisco.
Redskins have now 5 defensive backs in. They pulled out a defensive lineman. Looks like a big umbrella down there right now. Nelson back to throw. In the middle. Morrison's got it on the 48, 45 of the Redskins, 44-yard line. Timeout's called by the Browns. 22-yard pickup on the play. 9 seconds remaining.
Boy, Nelson took it right in the chin, right on the button, and he got up, shook the cobwebs out, motioned timeout to the referee on the 44.
I believe Bill now will get the official time from the crew. Make sure that it jives with the scoreboard clock.
Denver leads Buffalo 14-10. Something new here at the stadium this year. The Browns have put the football scores of the American Football Conference games on the scoreboard. At least we have 3 of them. We have nothing on the New York and Detroit game yet. Just 2 underway in the NFL other than this one. Well, with 17 seconds, with 9 seconds left to play, they need a pickup of about 10 yards to try perhaps a 44, 45-yard field goal. No score, Green Bay and San Francisco. That's at the end of the first period.
Redskins put their defensive linemen back in, so they have their regular defense. 3 receivers now in the flood formation to the left for the Browns. Nelson throwing the middle. Morin's got it. He's down at the 40-yard, 35-34. Timeout, Cleveland. Tom Russo made the tackle. The Browns now will go for the field goal.
And bear in mind, this is against a stiff wind.
And we have a tie ball game at the moment. This will be about a 41-yard attempt. Redskins tried one earlier and missed. Nelson will hold. Cockcroft will attempt it. 41 yards. Angle left at the hash mark. 2 seconds showing on the clock. The snap is high. The ball is kicked. It's far enough. It's good! Bill Nelson is all over Don Cockcroft, bringing him off the field. As the gun sounds, that's the end of the first half. With the score, the Browns 10, the Redskins 7. We'll be back with halftime sports in the second half of today's game after the news.
Kurt Knight will do the kicking off for Washington as the Browns receive to start the second half. Another tribute to the Browns defense is the fact that the Washington Redskins had a net total of 4 yards through the air in the first half. The Browns set to receive, starting the second half, leading 10-7.
Knight to kick off. Charlie Lee and Bo Scott are deep. That's well hit. Bo Scott is under it. On the goal line, up to the 5, 10, left sidelines, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 42, 44, down on the 44-yard line. A 44-yard return by Bo Scott. Tackle is made by Ted Factor. He almost broke that one open. Factor was the safety man on the right side of the field. He made the tackle. Browns have excellent field position starting the second half. The Browns lead 10-7. Sam Huff back in the ball game, a middle linebacker. Collins flank to the right. Warfield out 4 to the left. Morin tight at right end. Give to Morrison, right tackle. He's to the 45, up to about the 49-yard line, and sliced down. Shafrath led the blocking. Leo Carroll made the tackle, along with Sam Huff. Gain of 5, second down and 5. Boy, you sure cannot fault Reese Morrison's running these 2 games that he's been filling in for Leroy Kelly. He is really having himself quite a time. Collins flank right. Warfield out 4 to the left. Morin splits 2 at right end. Nelson to throw. Looking, throwing to Warfield, and it is out of bounds, incomplete. He was really bothered on the play by Mike Bass on the left sidelines. Nelson just released it out of bounds. 3rd and 5. Harris was back deep on the play. Double coverage on Warfield.
And he was trying that same pattern in which he picked up a 26-yard reception in the second quarter. Just a note here, Gib, he was bumped out of bounds there, and once you're out of bounds, you're out of the play. You can't come back in and take a reception. You're just out of the play.
Warfield flank to the left. The ends are in. Morrison's a wing back to the right. Nelson to throw. Throws. It is intercepted on the 36-yard line by Harris to the 50, and he's finally pulled down by Ron Johnson at about the 50-yard line. Collins couldn't quite hang on to the ball. As it flipped off his fingertips, it was intercepted. 13-yard return. We have an injury down here on the Browns' 40-yard line. One of the Redskins down.
They're spotting the ball just over the Washington 49-yard line, close to the 50, between the 49 and 50.
And there's an official timeout on the field with the score: the Browns 10, the Redskins 7.
When you stop to think that 1,000,000 times a day, 1,000,000 people enjoy over 1,000,000 Dukes, you may ask what's behind it. Well, in the aging process, Duquesne takes an extra step called krausening. It's an old-fashioned way to age beer, and it takes longer than the modern hurry-up way. Most of today's brewers can't take that kind of time. But Duquesne, with a 2.5 million barrel brewing capacity, can take the time. In short, the folks at Duquesne believe that krausening is the only way to bring you the finest beer in town. That's why every day, 1,000,000 people enjoy over 1,000,000 Dukes. Join the crowd. Try a Duke today. You'll be glad you did.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients makes Duquesne the finest beer in town.
The Duquesne Brewing Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. First down and 10 for the Redskins. Huff was injured again. He's off the sidelines. Jurgensen's going to the air to Bob Long. He's got it. He's nailed on the play at the 44 of the Browns by Erich Barnes. He really sailed into him. 6-yard pickup. And as Huff was being helped off the field, Erich Barnes came over and gave Sam a pat on the shoulder pad. Huff is a very tough competitor.
They were teammates for many years with the New York Giants.
And they both play about the same way, hard. 6-yard pickup, 2nd and 4 for the Redskins into Cleveland territory. Long flank to the left. Smith out 2 at left end. Taylor out 5 to the right. Jurgensen hands off. Brown is caught at the line. He gets just about a yard on the play. Johnson and Snidow grab him at about the 42. So he picks up almost 2 on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 2 to go.
Snead has hit Hawkins again, Gib, for the 3rd touchdown pass, and the Eagles go 10 points up on Pittsburgh. This covered 47 yards.
Do we have that Minnesota-Baltimore? Vikings are ahead 7-0.
Right, the 19-yard pass from Cap to Osborne was the score in that game.
Long flank to the right. Smith out 2 at right end. Taylor's out about 2 at left end. 3rd and 2. Give to Haraway. Hit at the 41. Breaks a tackle to the 40 to the 35, 34-yard line. And a good run by Charlie. Walter Johnson made the tackle, along with Walt Sumner. It'll be a 1st down for the Redskins. 8-yard pickup. on the 34. 12:06 to play, third quarter. Cleveland leading by 3. Get a break after this play. Bob Long flanks far to the right. Charlie Taylor splits 5 at left end. Smith out about 1.5 yards at right end. First and 10. Mix up as nobody centered the ball. Jorgensen handed off to Haraway, except the ball was still on the ground in the center's hands. Great deception, but it cost them 5 yards. Snap count was 2, and Haas was going to center it on 3. He probably said, I only missed it by 1. Long flank to the right. First and 15. Taylor out 4 to the left. Smith out 2 at right end. Jorgensen on the draw. Haraway up the middle. 35, 32, 30-yard line. Close to the 29. Schneidau on the tackle. On the 29-yard line. 9-yard pickup. Second and 6. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Cleveland Browns Football Network.
This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. WHK and WMMS FM, Metro Media Radio, Cleveland.
Bob Long flanked out to the right. Second and 6. Taylor's out 7 at left end. Smith out 2 at right end. Jorgensen to throw. Left sidelines. Taylor's got it. He's pulled down on the 25-yard line by one leg. Walt Sumner grabbed him. It'll be a 4-yard pickup. It's going to bring up a third down. About a yard to go.
They started this at the 34 and were penalized back to the 39, and then Haraway picked up 10. Charlie has 38 yards and 7 carries this afternoon for Washington.
Redskins out of a huddle. Long is a wingback to the right. Taylor splits about 3 at left end. Smith tight on the right side. Give to Brown, right tackle. Hit at the 44, slam back. I don't know if he got it on his forward progress. I doubt it. Upshaw and Johnson clamped him, the 2 defensive tackles. Now we'll see where they put down the ball. I do not think it's a first down. They're going to measure. It looks to be short about 6-8 inches.
Even the kicking team started on in the field, and they're halfway on the field now, led by Kurt Knight. Does all their kicking in place of Gogolak now.
It's short.
It's going to be short by about 4 inches. Here comes Kirk Knight, who used to be a side-wheeler type kicker at the Coast Guard Academy, but switched to the regular way, and he's replaced Gogolak. They carry Gogolak on their cab squad.
Well, Knight will try to tie the game. We have 10:41 remaining in the third quarter. A very well-played ball game. Brig Owens will hold. 32-yard attempt. Angle left. The snap, the spot, the kick is up. It's good. There's an official timeout on the field with a score. The Browns 10, the Redskins 10.
Never borrow money needlessly, but when you need to borrow, trust HFC.
Some people think that when the folks at Household say, never borrow money needlessly, they can't really mean it. But they do. After all, HFC is in business to get people out of problems, not into them. That's how HFC has grown to be not only the oldest, but the largest company of its kind. Need a loan now for any good reason? You can trust the company that says,
Never borrow money needlessly, but when you need to borrow, trust HFC.
that's Household Finance. There are more than 1,500 HFC offices throughout the U.S. and Canada to serve you. See your phone book for the nearest one.
Kurt Knight to kick off now for Washington. Charlie Lee and Bo Scott at the 2. Uh-oh, that's well hit. Scott has it 5-6 yards deep, and he kneels in the end zone. It'll be the Browns starting play on the touchback at the 20-yard line. 10-14 remaining in the third quarter. Tie game. John Didion is the middle linebacker again for the Redskins. Sam Huff probably is finished for the day. He was knocked out twice. He's over on the bench, or standing by the bench.
Now becomes a non-playing coach.
Warfield flank to the left. Collins out 5 to the right. Morin out a yard at left end. Hand off to Johnson, trying to turn the corner, cuts inside the 20, 25, he's to the 30, 31-yard line. 11-yard pickup and a first down on the play. Leo Carroll and Ricky Harris making the tackle. John Damari and Dick Shafrath leading the blocking. That puts Johnson up to 47 yards for the day. Morrison is 46.
Johnson has looked real good on those sweeps. Did last week against Philadelphia, too.
That's what he did at Michigan, Jim. He doesn't look fast. He isn't overly powering fast. He's a hard runner, and he uses his blocking very well. Warfield flank to the left. Collins out 3 to the right. On a trap, Johnson left tackle gets to the 32. I believe Ron was going the wrong way to start the play and then cut back to his left. Didion, the middle linebacker, Kammerer, the right end on the stop. Gain of a yard. 2nd and 9. Very windy. Down on the lake, the waves are up over the break wall. 9 minutes to play, third quarter. Warfield flank to the left, Collins out 5 to the right. Morin splits 2 at left end. 2nd and 9. Nelson back in the pocket, setting up. Screen to the left to run. Johnson to 30, loses his balance, picks it up at the 35 and up to the 39-yard line. Musgrove caught him from behind after Ron lost his balance. Damari out leading the blocking. It'll be a third down and about 2 to go. Ball's on the 39. He'll have to get almost to the 41-yard line. So about a yard and a half to go. Third down coming.
I think Sonny Jurgensen threw long on this 3rd and 2 situation. 3rd and 1 last week in New Orleans. Nelson has been known to do it. Starr does it frequently.
Warfield out 3 at left end. Collins a wing back to the right. Nelson gives to Morrison. He's got a hold at the 40 to the 45, 47-yard line. Ball was taken out of his hands by Pat Fisher, but the play had been blown dead. Didion helped Fisher on the tackle. First down for the Browns. 8-yard pickup. Puts Morrison up to 54 yards.
Those Eagles 31 to 13 after they trailed 13 to nothing.
They must have had 4 onside kicks today. Warfield flank left. Collins out 4 to the right. Give to Morrison. Up the middle. Johnson blocking for him. 50, 46, 45-yard line of the Redskins. Frank Bosch made the tackle. Ron Johnson ahead of him cleared the hole. That's good for 8 yards. And it's starting to rain. Our meteorologist statistician didn't bring his raincoat today. He just says it's 60 degrees, ignoring the rain. 2nd down, 2 to go for the Browns. Collins flank to the right. Morrison's a wing back to the left. Nelson's going to throw it. He's running to his right. Now he fires to Gary Collins, and it is out of bounds on the 20-yard line. He was covered on the play by Brig Owens, who picked him up, the free safety. And I believe Bill just put it out of bounds to bring up 3rd down and 2. Nelson now talking to Collins, to Morin rather, as they come back to the huddle. .6:42 to play, third quarter.
83-yard pass play from Cap to Washington puts the Vikings up on Baltimore 14-0. Do you think it's possible that the Colts could open the season with 2 straight losses?
Well, people will laugh if we tell them anything can happen in the National League anymore. Warfield flank to the left, Morin's out 2 at left end, Collins out 4 at right end. Give to Johnson, right tackle, not much of a hole, but he fights down to about the 43. He just overpowered the tackler, Frank Bosch, and he is going to be, I believe, a little short of the first down, but they're going to measure to make sure. It is going to be very, very close.
And what a decision to make now if they don't make it. Are they going to punt? Would they try a field goal into the wind from 50 yards? They are not making it, short by a couple of inches.
About 4 inches, and I think they're going to go for it. They are. And friends, sometimes 4 inches is extremely hard to pick up when that defensive line is moving right in against you. We'll find out in a moment. Browns break the huddle. Warfield's out 2 at left end. Morin's tight at right end. Collins a wing back to the right. 4th down and inches to go. Give to Johnson, left tackle. He's got the first down as he belts into about the 43-yard line. He just got through a small hole sideways. Gideon and Bosch on the tackle. First down. The first indication, however, they're going to bring the sticks in.
Snead has hit Hawkins again. That's 4 touchdown passes for those 2.
First down. made that one by about 3 inches.
He picked up 5 inches on that play.
Now all the umbrellas and the plastic sheets are up. Ball's on the Washington 43. 5:50 left to play in the third quarter. Collins flank to the right. Warfield out 4 at left end. Hand off to Morrison behind Johnson's blocking over right tackle 40, 39, close to the 38. Bosch again made the tackle. 5-yard pickup. Make it a 4-yard. They're going to spot it on the 39.
Jurgensen has still thrown just 11 times, and Nelson just 16 times. An awful lot of plays on the ground this afternoon.
Got to be a record low for Jurgensen so far. Browns out of the huddle. 2nd down and 6. Warfield's out 7 to the left. Collins flank right. Having a discussion on the sidelines, telling the Browns coaches to stay behind that white line that rims the field. They have trouble keeping these coaches off there. The coaches just get wrapped up in the ball game on both sides. Lombardi a while ago was right out on the edge of the sidelines.
Now he is arguing with the head linesman over there, telling him that he is, within the boundary. Detroit has picked up a touchdown against the New York Giants.
Collins flank right. Warfield out 7 to the left. Nelson to throw. And then Warfield's got it on the 30. 25 gets away from one man, cuts back and gets knocked down on the 24-yard line. Hamburger made the tackle. First down for the Browns. 15-yard pickup down to the 24-yard line.
Man, that was a big, deep hook that Warfield ran. He went down to about the 28, and then he started running back towards the Browns line of scrimmage and picked it off at about the 31. Came back 3 or 4 yards and finally got down to the 24.
Warfield now flanking to the left. Milt Morin splits 2 at left end. Collins a 4-yard split at right end. 1st and 10. Bill Nelson looks at the Washington defense, reaches behind his center, Fred Hoagland, gives the ball to Morrison, left tackle blocked by Johnson down to the 20 to the 17-yard line. Russell and Owens making the tackle. You know, these running backs, in addition to picking up yardage, Jim, the other back is doing the blocking for him.
And that plus the line, and Blanton Collier was lavish in his praise for the offensive line last week. I think he's going to be equally so this week.
We have 3:45 to play in the third quarter. The Browns on the 17-yard line. 2nd down, about 3 to go. And it's still raining. Collins flank to the right. Morin splits 2 at right end. Warfield out 5 yards, split at left end. Nelson hands off on the draw to Johnson up the middle of the 15 to the 10 to the 5-8. Touchdown!
last week, and that's his second of the afternoon today.
And again, Bill Nelson with an unusual call. You don't normally get draw plays down inside the opposition's 20-yard line. He did it last year. He did it again today. 17-yard touchdown. 3:24 to play in the third quarter. Nelson holding now at the 10-yard line. Cockcroft to attempt the point. The snap, the spot, the kick. It's good. There's an official timeout on the field with the score. The Browns 17, the Redskins 10. The WHK Morning Show, hosted by our All-Pro, Paul King.
Is that All-Pro or Old Pro, Gib? I guess after 15 years, I could qualify as an Old Pro. But you know, I used to do what you do. But now I handle the WHK music, time, weather, and such, and let you do the sports 3 times every morning.
And Bill Tompkins has 10-minute newscasts every hour at 55. By the way, what time does he get there?
At 3 o'clock in the morning, so he knows what's going on.
And Dennis Buckles in the newsroom, too. And Dennis and Bill both keep an eye on traffic conditions.
And don't forget Brown's Bill Nelson with a Monday morning quarterback show at 7:30 tomorrow morning.
Well, it's for sure WHK has it all on the air every morning.
Right, Gib. Music, news, sports, weather, time, traffic.
See what you're missing? Why not leave the radio right where it is all week?
Sure wouldn't hurt.
And you'll be ready for the next Browns game.
In the Eagle game last week in the third quarter, the Browns held the ball for all but 2 minutes and 16 seconds. They've just controlled it here on this drive for almost 7 minutes. 80 yards in 12 plays. They went 78 yards in 14 for their other score. Johnson on both of them.
Upshaw on the approach to kickoff. Roberts and Harris deep. Way over in the left corner. Walter Roberts on the 1, 5, 10. Right sidelines, 20. And he's knocked down by Billy Andrews and still at the 24-yard line. 23-yard return. The Redskins start play on their own 24-yard line. 3:12 remaining in the third quarter. In a very well-played football game. Redskins out of the huddle. Long flank right. Smith out 3 at right end. Taylor splits 7 at left end. Big handoff. Jurgensen to throw. Deep to the left sidelines. Taylor can't get onto it. It's thrown behind him at the Browns 48. He had to turn around and try to come back. He and Jurgensen were not together on the pass pattern. Walt Sumner was covering him on the play. Second down, 10 to go. Still raining.
Bears have scored against the Cardinals. That is 13-7 now. Still 31-13 Philadelphia over Pittsburgh. Detroit 7, New York nothing. Minnesota over Baltimore 14-0. And in the third period, San Francisco and Green Bay are still scoreless.
Long flank right. Smith out 3 to the right. Again, Taylor splits 7 to the left. 2nd and 10. On the draw, Haraway's hit by Gregory first, and then Upshaw puts him down at the 26-yard line. Matheson helped on it. Gain of 2 yards. 3rd down and 8. Gregory knocked him off balance and right into Upshaw and Matheson. Ball on the Washington 26. 2.5 minutes to play in the third quarter. Anything can happen yet, especially with Jurgensen the quarterback.
I was going to say he could end up throwing 35 passes for the afternoon, even though he's only got 12 now.
Long flank right. Taylor's out a yard at left end. Smith out 3 at right end. Jurgensen back in the pocket to throw, setting up. He's in trouble. He's hit. He's down. Back on the 19-yard line. Walter Johnson's one of them. Ron Sneidow was on it. That's the way you stop Sonny Jurgensen. The only way. 5-yard loss. And the Redskins will have to punt. Reese Morrison and Walt Sumner going back in double safety. Bragg will punt it. Line of scrimmage almost the 20. Bragg standing at the 6. Need a bad snap about now. Well, good snap. Kick is up. Beautiful high spiral. Fair catch called for. Well, no, Morrison's running with it. The 30, 35, he's to the 40, and he's down on the 45. Sumner put his hand in the air. Jim, I believe Morrison can still run with it, right?
No, he can't.
Well, Sumner had his hand in the air.
I know it, but once you call for a fair catch, it applies to all 11 men. Apparently, I mean, I agree with you. I think he had his hand in the air, but apparently it was, and he certainly wasn't trying to keep the sun out.
Might have been the rain.
Well, but you can't do that. So apparently that was not a fair catch signal, but I have to buy your description because I thought it was.
Warfield is flank left. Morrison's a wing right. The ends are in. Flip to Johnson. Shafrath blocking. He's to the 49, 50 to the Redskins' 49-yard line. Musgrove made the tackle. Gain of 6. That puts Johnson up to 73 yards, and Morrison has 73 yards, and both in 16 carries. They both might hit 100 today. 52 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Browns have 2nd and 4 on the Washington 49. Browns lead 17-10. Browns out of the huddle. Collins will flank right. Warfield splits 5 at left end. Morin is out a yard at right end. Give to Johnson. Morrison on a trap. He's to the 35, to the 40, 30, 25-yard line. Morrison on a brilliant run. He lost the ball, but the whistle had blown. The Redskins are running with it. Doesn't count. 24-yard pickup by Reese Morrison. That puts him at 100. Fisher's the man who made the tackle. 1st and 10 on the Redskins' 25-yard line. That was a short trap play, and Morrison was hit once and wouldn't go down. Well, Morrison's at 97 yards. And there's the gun. That's the end of the third quarter with the score. The Browns 17, the Redskins 10.
Today, you don't really need money, right? So you don't need Household Finance Loan Corporation. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow, you could get the big bill that you hadn't expected. All of a sudden, all of your bills are piling up. If that should happen, remember this. Household makes bill payer loans of $2,000 up to $5,000 that could pay off all your bills at once. Later, repay Household conveniently. Here's something else you should know. The company that says never borrow money needlessly also says before you sign on the dotted line, you'll know what your loan will cost. And remember, all loans over $2,000 may be secured by real estate equity at Household Finance Loan Corporation. For a large or small loan, visit the household office nearest you. There are 18 offices in the Cleveland area. See your phone book for the addresses.
Going into the final 15 for this afternoon. Browns 7 points on top, driving for another one. 1st and 10 on the 25. Leroy Kelly is out of this ball game, didn't play. And with Morrison and Johnson doing so well, and Kelly back, it looks like this year the Browns have beaucoup fine runners. Haven't even used Bo Scott.
Both ends are split. Collins flanked to the right, starting at the Redskins' 25. Fake handoff. Nelson drops the ball, but he falls on it. Back on the 30. 5-yard loss. He was going to hand the ball to Ron Johnson. He dropped the ball. They're going to get that ball off the field and bring in a dry one. That's wonderful. Oh, they almost threw it away. Second and 15 on the Redskins' 30. Collins flanked to the right. Morin out 2 at right end. Warfield splits 4 at left end. Nelson hands off on the draw to Johnson. Hit at the 30. Pulled down by Leo Carroll at the 29-yard line. He played that trap draw very well. It'll be 3rd and about 13 and a half. The ball inside the 29. 1 minute gone in the fourth quarter. Browns need at least a field goal this trip. They're only at 1 touchdown ahead. Warfield flank left. Morin out 2 at left end. Collins out 7 at right end. Nelson to throw. Sets. Looks. Fires. Morin's got it. 19 down on the 16 to about the 15-yard line. Brig Owens made the tackle. Close to a first down. About a half yard short. It's a 14-yard, make it a 13-yard pickup. And it's raining much harder now. Nelson wants to see how close it is. He's coming over the ball. It is 4th down. Here's Chip Glass bringing in a play, replacing Warfield. There'll be 2 slot ends in the lineup. No, he's not bringing the play in. Nelson takes his own into the huddle.
And they are also in the skin part of the Indians' infield here. If it rains much more, it's going to be very, very slippery. They are not now playing on sod.
4th down, inches to go for the first down, almost at the 15. Collins wing right, ends are in. Give to Johnson, left tackle. He's got the first down as he hits the 14-yard line, driven back. That'll be a first down on the play. Kammer is the man who made the tackle. First down, 10 to go. That's second time in this half, Jim, we've had inches to go on 4th down, and they made it.
Now, they tried it up here on about the 45-yard line, wasn't it? Sure it was.
Browns break the huddle, leading by 7, 4th quarter, 12-10 to play. Collins flank to the right. Warfield out 4 at left end. Give to Morrison, right guard and tackle, cuts outside to the 10, to the 9, to the 8-yard line. Tackle made by Hamburger. Russell helped on the stop. That's good for about 6.
Boy, Morrison's looking awfully good today. He looked good last week. He looks better today.
103 yards for Morrison. It's amazing the Browns can run this well without Leroy Kelly, but it shows what kind of a line the Browns have. Warfield, flank left. Collins out 4 to the right. Nelson gives to Morrison. Not much of a hole. Hits through the 7-yard line. Hamburger on the tackle. That's a scissors play. The 2 backs crisscross going into the line. It'll be 3rd and about 3 at the 7. Vince Lombardi standing on the sidelines with his hands behind his back. Now starting to pace. Collins a wing back to the right. Warfield's out 4 at left end. Nelson hands to Johnson, trapped in the backfield at about the 14. He's in trouble. He's hit at the 15 and down. Mike Bass, the cornerback, broke through and spoiled the play. They'll mark at the 16-yard line. The Browns will go for a field goal. That's a loss of 9. Redskins had that play figured. Browns leading by just 7. Cockcroft already has a 41-yard field goal. This will be a 23-yard attempt. Rather severe angle left at the hash marks. The snap. Kick is up. It is good. There's an official timeout on the field with the score. The Browns 20, the Redskins 10.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients brings you the finest beer in town. You're really gonna savor that old-fashioned Pilsner flavor of Duquesne, the finest beer around.
It's that just right combination of ingredients that give Duke that old-fashioned beery flavor. Give your taste a treat and order a Duke. You'll have lots of company. Every day, 1 million people enjoy over 1 million Dukes. Join the crowd.
The perfect combination of nature's ingredients makes Duquesne the finest beer in town.
The Duquesne Brewing Company, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
yards out. The Don Cockcroft is now 4 for 4 on field goals in the 2 games. This is the score that the Browns beat Washington in the preseason, 20-10. The crowd here, just announced, is 82,581. We're at 10 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the game.
Upshaw on the kick. Roberts and Harris deep. Roberts under it on the 4, 10, 15. He's up the middle to the 25 and down on the 30-yard line. Marked that about a 27-yard return, 26-yard return, and Billy Andrews made the tackle. Well, we still have almost 10 minutes to play, and Sonny Jurgensen probably now will start filling the air, and I believe it quit raining. The skies are clearing. Browns have run 57 plays today, 60 is the average. Redskins have had 35. Taylor split 8 to the left. Long flank to the right. On the dive, Smith over left tackle to the 33-yard line. Matheson, Snidow. That's not Snidow, that's Gregory. Get a break after this play. Second down and 7. I said Smith the ball carrier. That's Larry Brown. Smith is the end. Dummy. Long flank to the right. Taylor out 5 to the left. Jurgensen to throw. He fires. Long's got it on the 49. He's down on the 49. Mike Howell got him. 10 seconds for station identification. This is the Cleveland Browns Football Network.
This is the radio home of the Cleveland Browns. WHK and WMMS FM, Metro Media Radio, Cleveland.
16-yard pickup, 1st and 10 for the Redskins on their own 49, 8:25 to play. Long flank to the left, Taylor out 5 to the right, Smith out about 2 yards at left end. Give to Brown up the middle, 50-45 down to the 40-yard line. That almost a first down, I believe it is. Mike Howell on the tackle along with Walter Johnson. Timeout to measure. The cheer you hear is for the Sun.
That Kansas City-Cincinnati game now is after 3 periods of play, still 13-10 KC.
Redskins get a first down. Ball is on the 41 of the Browns. Redskins break the huddle. Bob Long flank to the right. Jerry Smith out 2 at right end. Charlie Taylor split 7 yards at left end. Jurgensen to Haraway. Up the middle. Johnson's got him. Nailed him on the 40. Ron Snidow helped on it. They're going to give him the 39, I believe. Closer. 2-yard pickup. 2nd and 8. 7.5 minutes to play. Long again. Flank to the right. Smith out 2 at right end. Taylor splits 5 at left end. Jurgensen to throw. He fires, and Long's got it on the 20. He's out of bounds. Erich Barnes hit him at the 16-yard line. That'll be another first down, and the Redskins threatening. 23-yard pickup. Here's Alvin Mitchell coming in. Erich Barnes, slow getting up on the play, now is walking to the sidelines.
It's amazing that Erich bounced back because Erich made no contact whatsoever this past week. He didn't even hit the ground. He was hitting nobody. And, of course, when you're in the cornerback, you're doing a lot of that. He had no contact work whatsoever this past week, and he's played the whole game.
Long flank right. Taylor out 7 at left end. Jurgensen to throw. In the middle. It is caught by Taylor, and he's down on the 1-yard line. Matheson made the tackle. That's a 15-yard pickup, and the Redskins have first down and goal to go at the 1.
Well, they're doing it in a hurry, too. They've chewed up just 4 minutes in this drive. That's not too much.
Bob Oliver and Joe Righetti coming in the goal line unit. That's trouble with Jurgensen, Jim. He can hit you in a hurry.
That's right. Green Bay finally scored. That's the second period.
Redskins out of the huddle. Long, a wing right. Taylor out 3 at left end. Give to Haraway, left tackle, and he is in for 1. He goes in for the touchdown. Barged in the end zone for the score. So with 6:22 remaining in the ball game, the Redskins trail by 4 and the extra point to follow. Then we'll have Brig Owens holding at the 10 and Kurt Knight to attempt the extra point. Bad snap. Briggs fumbled the ball. He's caught back on the 8-yard, 13-yard line. It's no good. There's an official timeout on the field with the score, the Browns 20, the Redskins 16.
The Challenger is a beautiful new 1970 Dodge automobile. The Challenger is WHK's morning personality, Paul King. The Challenger is a contest that offers you a chance to win this all-new 1970 Dodge Sporty Compact. Here's how it works.
You'll give Paul King a subject of interest. He challenges you with a question. For example,
Your subject is football. My question is, who kicked the longest field goal in NFL history?
listeners with correct answers will immediately win a prize and become eligible to win Paul King's Dodge Challenger.
You can see the Challenger at any participating Dodge dealer showroom where you can register for the Challenger contest.
And there's a bonus prize. Anyone entering the contest is eligible to win an AM/FM stereo set, even if their card isn't drawn for the telephone contest.
Enter at any participating Dodge dealer or send your subject on a postcard to the Challenger in care of Paul King, WHK Cleveland.
6 minutes, 22 seconds remain as Kurt Knight sets to kick off to the Browns. Lots of time for lots of action here. Only 4 points separate the two now.
Knight on the approach. Lee and Scott are deep. Both Scott's under it. On the goal line. Fumble the ball in the end zone. He's going to stay with it. Wisely. So the Browns will start play at the 20-yard line. Well, one thing the Browns need right now is ball control.
Each team with its full complement of 3 timeouts remaining. And Sonny Jurgensen may wish that he had gone to the air sooner. But it may be time enough yet.
Collins flanks to the right. Warfield out. 4 to the left. Morin tight at right end. Give to Morrison. Right tackle. 22, 23. Close to the 24-yard line. Tackled by Brig Owens. Up from safety. 2nd and 6 on the 24-yard line. That puts Morrison up to 109 yards. 5:45 to play. Warfield flank left. Collins out 5 to the right. Morin out a yard at left end. And off is to Morrison. He's nailed back at the line of scrimmage by Frank Bosch. No gain on the play. Now it's 3rd and 6. Clock, of course, is very important. 5:15 remaining.
Pittsburgh has come back now and only trails by 4 points in the 4th period. It's 31-27. That's been a back-and-forth battle down there.
Here's Collins, flank to the right. Warfield's out 10 yards, split at left end. Milt Morin's out a yard at right end. Nelson back to throw. Big play. Nelson is hit. He fumbled the ball. It's recovered by the Redskins on the 13-yard line. Bosch is the man who hit him. Carroll's the man who recovered the ball. And the Redskins get a big break with only 4:53 remaining. They get the ball on the Browns' 13-yard line. The 11-yard loss on the play. But more important, the Redskins have the ball. come out of the huddle. Long flank to the right. Mitchell still in at left cornerback, guarding Long now. Taylor's a 5-yard split at left end. Smith out 3 at right end. Jurgensen's going to throw it. He sets. He fires. It is a touchdown to Bob Long. One play, 13 yards, and the Redskins take the lead for second time in the ball game. With 4.5 minutes remaining. Redskins lead by 2. Knight will attempt the extra point. Brig Owens holding at the 10. The snap. The kick is up. It is good. There's an official timeout on the field. The score, the Redskins 23, the Browns 20.
When you shop for an appliance, you look for the answers to a lot of questions. Price is the big question. How much is it in the downtown department stores, the appliance stores, the discount houses? Where gas dryers, gas ranges, incinerators, and through-the-wall heaters are concerned, Forest City has the product and the price. Forest City shops the other stores every day. They know that model for model, price for price, they are lowest. So let the fella at Forest City show you these economical gas appliances and answer all your questions. Forest City has the best price. He can prove it. Ask him about Forest City service warranties and guarantees. Ask him about the other store's delivery, installation, and finance charges. Ask him about selection. Compare. When it comes to gas appliances, Forest City can deliver more sunshine for less on such famous brands as Frigidaire, Hardwick, Speed Queen, Warm Morning, and Hot Point. So buy with confidence. Get your modern gas appliance at Forest City. You pay less and you must be completely satisfied. Forest City guarantees it.
Knight ready to kick off. Charlie Lee and Bo Scott at the goal line. There's the kick. Drifting off to the right. Bo Scott up and looking to the sun. He's got it on the 7, 10. Left sidelines, 15, 20, and he's down on about the 26-yard line. Tackle made by Mike Bass. 20-yard return, and the Browns start play with 4 minutes, 19 seconds remaining in the ball game, and they trail by 3 points. Ball on the 26. Collins flanked to the right, Warfield out 4 to the left. Morin's out a yard at right end. Hand off to Reese Morrison, turning right end, cuts back inside 30, 35, and he's down on the 37, almost the 38-yard line. First down, 12-yard pickup. Russell made the tackle. Jim Copeland is in at right guard now, and he threw one of the blocks. He's replaced Gene Hickerson. Gene had an injury last week. 3:38 to play. Ball on the Cleveland 38-yard line. Collins flanked to the right. Warfield's out 5 at left end. Morin splits a yard at right end. Handoff. Johnson left tackle 40, 41-yard line. Tackled by Musgrove, the defensive right tackle of the Redskins. That's a pickup of 3. Second down and 7. Mark at the 40-yard line and 2nd and 8. Flank to the right. Warfield out 7 to the left. Milt Morin's out a yard and a half at right end. Nelson to throw. In the middle, Warfield's got it at the 50 to the 49 of the Redskins. Hamburger makes the tackle. First down. That's good for 11. Reese Morrison's up to 121 yards. As the clock continues to tick, it's 2:35. We'll get it stopped at the 2-minute warning. Browns break the huddle. 2:28. Collins flank. The split right by 7. Warfield flank left. Morin's out 2 at left end. Give to Johnson, right tackle. Not much of a hole. Fights for yardage. 45, 44 to about the 43-yard line. Hamburger and Kammerer made the tackle. 2:11. Fred Hoagland slipping off the field, and Gene Hickerson's coming back in, so we'll probably have Copeland go to center. Or rather, Copeland is hurt on the play. I thought that was Hoagland. And the 2-minute warning now, so Bill Nelson comes to the bench. 2 minutes to play. Browns trail by 3. They're 43 yards away from winning the ball game.
Baltimore just came back to score on a pass from Morrill to Matty, 43 yards, so now they still trail Minnesota 14-7. Detroit Lions in here next week, and the Browns will be home 4 of the next 5 games. 82,581 on hand for this game this afternoon. It's been a fine, fine football game for both teams. Browns held the upper hand for most of the way, but in a period of less than 2 minutes, the score went from 20-10 Browns to 23-20 Redskins as they missed the extra point on their second touchdown. The Cincinnati Bengals now have scored against Kansas City, and they lead 17-13. That's in the fourth period. Bill Nelson now returns to his teammates in the huddle after conferring with Nick Skorich, who is up on the roof with Howard Brinker and Fritz Heisler. San Francisco, Green Bay, 7-7, third period.
Here come the Browns out of the huddle. Ball almost into the 43 of the Redskins. Warfield flanked left, Collins out 4 to the right. Morin out a yard at left end. Handoff comes to Morrison, sweeping left end, 45-40, cuts back 35-34, 33-yard line. Another first down. 11 yards for Reese Morrison. Carroll made the tackle for the Redskins. That line is really doing a job. That's 132 yards for Morrison. Browns out of the huddle. Time is the big thing now. 1:35 remaining. Collins flank right. Both ends are split. Nelson back to throw. Has time. Looks. Throws. It is caught by Morrison. He's out of bounds on the 14-yard line. He beat Ricky Harris on the play. Copeland back in at right guard for the Browns. Nelson had all day to throw the ball, and he finally spotted Morrison open. Dickerson coming out of the lineup. The ball is spotted on the 15-yard line.
Morrison received one of the game balls last week. A win for the Browns. He's liable to double up.
Collins flank right. Warfield out 5 to the left. Morin splits 2 at right end. Nelson's going to throw it to Gary Collins. A touchdown! Seconds to play as Collins shook off Pat Fisher to get the touchdown pass. Cockcroft's point. The kick is up. It is good. The Browns go on top by a score of 27-23. It's at least out of field goal range for Washington to tie it. They have to get a touchdown. However, Sonny Jurgensen still has the time, 1:19.
Hey, who picked 50 points?
You beat me on it. Last minute.
Still on. I thought we were in a commercial. Pardon me. All right. Okay. I just happened to pick 50 points. 27-23, Browns on top with 1:19. George, let me know next time, will you? And Marv Upshaw all set to kick off to the Washington Redskins, and still with 69 seconds remaining, plenty can happen. 74 yards in 7 plays. The Browns took the ball with 4.5 minutes remaining. Nelson hitting Collins on the 15-yarder.
The only bad thing is now you have to give the ball back to Washington. Upshaw ready to kick. There's the kickoff. That's well hit. Way back. Harris has it 9 yards deep. He's coming out with it. He's to the goal line, to the 5, to the 10, to the 15, and he's down on the 20-yard line. That takes more than just a little bit of courage. 29-yard return. Boy, he was almost out of the end zone. They're going without a huddle. Long is the flanker to the right. Both ends split about 5 yards. Jurgensen back to throw. Right sidelines caught by Long. He's at the 20. Check it, it's Allen rather. And a flag goes down. Alvin Mitchell's the man who hit him. We have a flag dropped out at about the 23. May have a clip. 5-yard pickup to the 25. It's against the Redskins. Half the distance. Ball on about the 12 and a half now. Half the distance for clipping. Henry Dyer and Jerry Allen are the running backs now. The Browns have a 3-man defensive line in with 4 linebackers. Billy Andrews has been added. And the 4 defensive backs. 1 minute, 1 second remaining. Long flank right. Taylor out 10 to the left. Smith out 3 to the right. Still first down. Now Jurgensen back to throw. He fires. It is out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Overthrown, intended for Bob Long. It'll be second down and about 17 to go.
And with 56 seconds now left to play, Gibb, and New Orleans has scored against Dallas and lead the Cowboys 7-0.
This is some ball game. You know how many people have left here? Very few. The ones that are out of their seats we can see up in the back standing. Larry Brown back in at running back, replacing Jerry Allen. 56 seconds to play. Long flank right. Smith out 3 at right end. Taylor out 7 at left end. Jurgensen back to throw. The Browns backpedaling. Jurgensen throws. It is caught out in the left flat. And Dyer is hit at the 20, 25. Fumble the ball. But they ruled the play was blown dead. Play was blown dead. Walter Sumner's the man who made the tackle at the 29-yard line. That's good for 18 yards. Timeout, Washington.
That went from 56 down to 34 seconds. The clock was running until the Skins called timeout. Went from 40 down to 34. They have 2 more timeouts remaining. This score at halftime was 10-7. Pardon me, Gibb. Go ahead.
I was just saying Brown limped off the field, so Allen's back in at running back. John Garlington's coming in the Browns lineup, another linebacker. Billy Andrews must have been shaken up slightly, so Garlington said, "Are you all right?" And Andrews said, "Yes." Get off the field, and Garlington's coming back. These players get in the ball game. They don't want to leave. Third down, about a yard to go for the Redskins.
Oakland now has a lead over Boston in the American League 31-13 after Boston led at one time 13-0.
Redskins out of the huddle. Long flank right. Both ends are split. Jurgensen back to throw. He sets. He fires. It is batted away and almost intercepted and incomplete. It was deflected by Matheson, and Fred Summers almost grabbed it out of the air. It's incomplete. Fourth down now, and a yard to go, and 28 seconds remaining. I would think, Jim, the Redskins will have to try to get a first down.
Yep.
If it's incomplete, they lose the ball.
Redskins held a lead at one time of 7-0 in the first period. Then they held a lead for a couple of minutes here in the closing minutes of this ball game.
Long flank to the right. Smith out 3 at right end. Taylor out 5 at left end. Up the middle comes Dyer to the 32, 33, 34. Gets the first down. And the Redskins going without a huddle now. 19 seconds, 18. Both ends split. Again, long flank right. Jurgensen to throw. Flag down. Passes to Dyer. He's got it. He fumbled the ball. It goes out of bounds. It's ruled incomplete. He did not have possession as Andrews jarred it loose. We have a flag drop. It looked as though the Redskins were not set before they snapped the ball. 9 seconds remaining. I believe I'd take the penalty now, Jim. The 9 seconds, they've only get 4 downs anyway. It'll make them 5 more yards to go. Backfield in motion, the Browns take the penalty. Goes back to the 29-yard line. Redskins broke out of the huddle, and the center kicked the ball. 9 seconds. Browns lead by 4. Both ends are split again. Long flank to the right. Jurgensen back to throw. He's looking. He's running. He's running with the ball to the 30. He's to the 40. He's to the 50. Jurgensen to the 45, to the 40, and he's down on the 39-yard line, and the gun sounds. It's over. The end of today's game with a final score. The Browns 27, the Redskins 23.